Did you get anywhere with your homework on why Dan isn't mentioned?
No.
No.
Was that my homework?
Well, you're the one that was bringing it up. I did some digging on it, and there's no definite.
I don't think that was what I was supposed to find out.
I thought you were the one that was made that observation. We gave it to you. I have written here, Carissa will look at.
You just wrote it down. Does not count.
I have written in my Bible, and I don't know if it was because Pastor Minnick was preaching through that at that point, but at verse 6 I've got written, the tribe of Manasseh replaced the tribe of Dan.
Okay. Yeah, and there's all kinds of different, this morning we were in Psalm 22 and we looked at the Danites, right, and how they took Micah, like the idols of the house of Micah from Judges 18, like, and that was kind of the essence of it. And they were the wild ox, right, that was opposing David being the anointed chosen one in the tribe of Manasseh, so we worked through that. So some of that, I mean, when I was just kind of quickly researching, some of it was like the nature of this tribe, right, and why their name isn't listed.
I just did my homework on Google AI.
Okay, what does Google AI say?
For who started the rumor that Mary Magdalene was a prostitute.
That's the one, yeah.
That's the one. Pope Gregory the First. It's always a pope, just saying. Well, he started the idea that she was a prostitute in a homily in 591 CE.
591?
Yeah, by identifying her with the unnamed sinner woman from Luke's Gospel and interpreting the 7 demons she was exorcised from as representing a life of sin, likely implying prostitucy. It's just completely guessing. This interpretation, which has been widely rejected by modern scholarship and the Catholic Church itself, became a powerful, albeit inaccurate, tradition that shaped the figure of Mary Magdalene for centuries, particularly in the Western Church. Well, someone needs to apologize.
So the Orthodox Church,
That's what do you call that, defamation?
or poor
For
grammar,
centuries. Yeah,
eisegesis,
very poor,
adding into scripture,
bad Bible literacy.
Catholic. Now, mind you, it said there the Catholic Church rejected it.
Yeah.
Current, modern,
Current.
not.
With textual criticism.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
We agree that she's a sinner, but it never says why she's a sinner. So there's all kinds of things.
Demons make you sin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's enough by itself.
Yeah.
And then, right? All right, well, that was a Wednesday night topic
Yes,
here.
that's right.
I know, but you said homework and I had to do it.
Yes, because you're competent.
Yeah, highly.
Highly competent. Okay, so moving on, we've got the ceiling of 144,000. I think last time we were there. Are the 12 tribes of Israel lost? No, God knows where they are. I mean, we even have a list of land inheritance in Ezekiel, right, of what lands will be allotted and what their roles will be. So the only people that have lost them would be our former friends who have replaced them. Yeah. Right? That would be it. Okay.
To their loss. Just saying.
Okay, so why don't we just grab chapter 7 at verse 9? Just to kind of wet our whistles with this. Again, ask the question, salvation from what? Make some observations as you're reading, and then we'll step into chapter 8, which is pretty morbid. So Lawrence, chapter 7, verse 9.
After these things I looked, and behold, a great multitude which no one could number, of all nations, tribes, peoples, and tongues, standing before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palm branches in their hands.
And crying out with a loud voice, saying, Salvation belongs to our God, who sits on the throne, and to the Lamb.
Okay, just pause for a second.
Pause.
Pause, parenthesis. Right, you've got nations, tribes, peoples, and tongues. So this isn't just the Jewish people, right? So we've already had the church, the ecclesia, the mystery, Jews and Gentiles, one in Christ up. And now we have a great multitude, okay? So this has never been just about Israel, even from the very beginning. It's always been recognizing God and coming to Him in a relationship by faith, and fellowship by obedience. Okay? Alright, unpause.
All the angels stood around the throne, and the elders and the 4 living creatures, and fell on their faces before the throne and worshiped God.
Saying, Amen, blessing and glory and wisdom, thanksgiving and honor and power and might be to our God forever and ever. Amen.
Do you think that was just said? Or do you think there was music to it?
Well, I think there's probably a bit of shouting, but
Alright?
just because there's an exclamation mark.
Well, that could be, yeah. Chanting.
Apparently, angels never sing in the Bible.
Yeah, I remember reading that.
Not
Yeah.
once. God
Doesn't mean that
sings.
they can't be saying it to music.
Right,
Yeah.
we sing, but yeah.
God
We
sings,
have a lot-
and
yeah.
I don't remember which verse that is, but he does.
Yeah. But I mean, this would be, I mean, standing before the throne, we're in the abode of the Father, third heaven. I think it's a little
Reader's
bit more
theater
than
type,
just- Yeah, sure, something like that. It's an ambiance, it's an environment going on here.
Right.
Right there.
Okay. Your turn.
Then one of the elders answered, saying to me, "Who are these arrayed in white robes, and where did they come from?"
And I said to him, "Sir, you know," this is how you get out of the test.
I was
right?
going to say, this is such a safe.
Oh, you know, this is when my dad would ask him a
You
Bible.
know the
When I
thing.
asked him a Bible question, he's like, "Oh, you know, like you know, like that's how you know. You don't need me to explain. You know already." Oh, so you know. So he said to me, "These are the ones who come out of the great tribulation and washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb." So there are Jews, and there are Gentiles, right, who call on the name of the Lord and are saved, even though it means they lose their life in the midst of that. Okay, verse 15 words.
Therefore they are before the throne of God, and serve him day and night in his temple, and he who sits on the throne will dwell amongst them.
Ye shall never hunger any more, nor thirst any more. The sun shall not strike them, nor any heat.
For the Lamb who is in the midst of the throne will shepherd them and lead them to the living fountains of waters, and God will wipe away every tear from their eyes.
Okay. So even just thinking there, verse 15 to 17, as John sees them in the presence of God, does that mean that they're serving day and night in his temple yet? Right? Not necessarily, but there's a promise there. They're going to serve because we know the temple hasn't been set up yet in Jerusalem. So there's a place and position for these believers, these tribulation martyrs, for walking through, I'll say, spirit-led martyrdom. Right? There's an inheritance, or there's a place and position for them in that. No more hunger, no more thirst. Sun shall not strike them, nor any heat. So this has us looking ahead, okay? Even aspects of New Jerusalem. For the Lamb who is in the midst of the throne will shepherd them and lead them by living fountains of waters. Almost sounds like Psalm 23, doesn't it?
Mm.
And when does God wipe away every tear from their eyes?
In the kingdom. right?
New Jerusalem,
Yeah.
right? The new
Not
heavens.
just heaven.
New heavens and new earth. We read that in Revelation 21. Okay, any other thoughts? I have a
Is that why
profound
they
one. Are you
think-
gonna go? You got a thought?
No, you just go ahead.
You want me to go ahead?
I'm not that profound.
Well, this is gonna be pretty. All right. My thought is, in verse 9, and forgive me if I've already said this, I don't think I got to it, where we have nations, tribes, peoples, tongues standing before the throne, so we know this is in heaven, right? Third heaven. And before the Lamb, so you got the Father and King Jesus at the right hand, right? I mean, Stephen sees that. They're clothed in white robes. With what in their hands?
Where did they get the palm branches?
That's my thought. If they're in the third
I'm telling
heaven,
you, there's potted plants, because we talked about this before.
what, that means there's dirt in heaven too, right?
No,
Unless,
it's probably vermiculite or something clean.
yeah. Anyway, so my question would be, are there trees in the throne room of heaven? Does that mean there's dirt? Does
Isn't a palm branch also a symbol of Israel?
Maybe the palm branches got caught up with it.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, the idea of being martyred, and here's your palm branch, I mean, maybe there's some, but I'm just saying, they're standing before the Father.
It's
Well,
not.
God did create a garden in the beginning,
They
so-
don't-
And
they-
it was a beautiful thing before the
They
curse.
don't have their bodies yet, because there is a martyrdom, like a tribulation resurrection at the end. I'm not saying they're floating around.
Houseplants are biblical.
Okay, I'm not saying they're floating around, but I mean, there would be a recognize they're wearing robes, but they're actually waving palm branches, and if I'm reading this literally, that means there's palm branches.
Well, it doesn't say like palm branches, it says palm branches.
Yeah, so it's gotta be palm branches.
Obviously, heaven's not just in clouds.
And it's not like a sterile. It kind of makes sense, right? Like if God made paradise, and paradise is just another word for garden, kind of makes sense that there would be some form of.
Well, okay, so let me rework
If
that.
that's paradise, then
If New Jerusalem, Jesus goes to prepare a place, and the mansions, right? And if New Jerusalem is going to descend, does New Jerusalem have a tree of life in it?
mhm.
It does, right? So it has vegetation, there's water, right? Potted plants, oh, I don't know where I go that far, but plants?
It's possible.
Yes.
I mean, when we think of houses here in North America, we don't think of the way they were in Israel. And in Israel, they had a courtyard in the middle that was considered the house, and there would be a tree in it.
So maybe your mansion already has plants started.
Oh, that was so nice.
All right, not to be sacrilegious, but there are plants here, okay? We have New Jerusalem, we have a place being prepared. Interesting things to think about. Okay, Neil, you wanna try and top that with,
No.
no? All right,
Mine was verse 16. They shall neither hunger anymore nor thirst anymore. Is that where we get the whole no eating and drinking in heaven thing?
that'd probably be one of their,
Or in the kingdom.
yeah, that would be probably something
Just because
there
they're not
in the
hungry
idea.
and thirsty doesn't mean they
Doesn't mean
can't.
you eat and drink,
Yeah,
and we
Jesus
will,
ate and drank,
Yeah.
so after with his glorified body.
yeah.
so we will recognize,
There's a
it-
difference between hungering and thirsting and just enjoying a meal. I mean, we're gonna have a banquet, right? So there's gonna be
Yeah.
eating and drinking.
Well, we did read in Isaiah, and when we studied the Sermon on the Mount, that the blessed, right, the blessed that are following in obedience, they're the ones that'll never hunger, right? The ones that are in disobedience, right, they're going to hunger
In the kingdom.
in the kingdom.
Mm.
But here in particular, I think it's pointing towards the New Jerusalem, because if we go to Revelation 21, we've got the same principles there again. Verse 3, and we'll know that New Jerusalem, there's no sun either, right? It's the Lamb, the God and the Lamb are its light. Verse 3 of Revelation 21, or verse 2, or verse 1. Now I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and also there was no more sea. What heaven would this be, Kristen? Is he renovating the third heaven?
No.
Alright, probably the first and second one. Could renovate the third if you wanted. Then I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. God himself will be with them and be their God, and God will wipe every tear from their eyes. There shall be no more death, nor sorrow, nor crying, should be no more pain, for the former things have passed away. Fair enough? So that's after Daniel's 70th week. Okay, the second coming. All right, we ready for chapter 8?
Bring it on.
Bring it on.
Okay.
Does God ever talk about judgment without mercy or hope? Oh, well, it's always balanced. I mean, if
Just
you're,
keep reading.
yeah, just keep reading. If you get down in the dumps, or you're thinking God is vengeful and wrathful, just keep reading. And there's always not just a way out, but there's also always a salvation or grace aspect. But it's always His way. So chapter 8, verse 1, where are we? Okay, Ruth?
When he opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven for about a half hour.
And that's why the men go up first, right? You've heard that joke? You haven't heard that joke, Ruth? Ruth.
No,
Sorry,
I've never
Barbara.
heard that.
You haven't heard that?
No.
Oh, that is you've heard that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is maybe.
So
too
you
many.
mean
Oh,
when he opened that
because I-
seal,
I
it
see
was
what
men,
you mean.
not women, because there was silence?
There's silence,
Yeah,
that's why.
I think I actually heard that.
That's
before.
okay.
Ha
It's
ha.
fine. But there's silence for a half hour in heaven, so that
Yeah.
means the men go up first.
Yeah. I know
I would call
some
that
men who talk a lot.
eisegesis, just saying.
Yeah.
I
Like
know a few
Josiah
wrongs.
Grayson said, yeah,
Rather
yesterday.
invented
Gracie likes to
interpretation
talk.
here.
Where'd that come from?
Well, they're not
You
dumb.
were talking to men, a bunch of men yesterday. People you didn't even know. Gracie likes to talk.
Yeah. I don't know that. But anyway,
So
sorry.
does he.
Bad joke.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Bad joke. Oh!
Slow.
Flies are
Right
murdering.
Okay, you want me to keep going?
Alright, for those watching too, this isn't a symbol or anything like that. We've got another 30 of them down in the cupboard. Alright.
And I saw the 7 angels who stand before God, and to them were given 7 trumpets.
Then another angel, having a golden censer, came and stood at the altar. He was given much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints upon the golden altar which was before the throne.
And the smoke of the incense with the prayers of the saints ascended before God from the angel's hand.
Then the angel took the censer, filled it with fire from the altar, and threw it to the earth. And there were noises, thunderings, lightnings, and an earthquake.
So the 7 angels who had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound.
Okay, so just, what did we just read?
Prelude of the 7 trumpets.
Preparation for opening the 7 trumpets.
Okay.
So, of the
The seventh
first,
seal is actually the 7 trumpets.
yeah, it's
so
7
we've established
parts.
that. Alright, we've got an angel has a golden censer. So I mean, like whenever I picture a censer, I almost think like Mulan.
Oh, really? I think of
Disney
a
movie
Catholic
where we're
priest
going
going
in-
through.
A Catholic priest, but I mean, it's something in there that you light incense on there and the aroma comes up, okay?
Yeah.
Coming through that. So verse 3 says, another angel having a golden censer came and stood at the altar. I'm assuming this would be the same, altar that Jesus went in before, right? Had to go past there for the mercy seat to apply his blood. He was given much incense that he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints. Okay, so you got incense with the prayers of all the saints upon the golden altar which was before the throne. Sometimes, it'll be presented that the incense, like the smoke, reflects like the prayers of the saints, okay? The picture there of believers' prayers coming before God is there. Maybe in particular, during this great tribulation, God is hearing the prayers of believers that are going through this horrific time, right, as these things are going out. Again, try and my finite mind, I mean, God, just rapture them again. Like, as people are like, just remove them from this wrath. Like, it would be so much more loving to, oh, you've called the name of the Lord to remove you. But
But
sin
they're not
has,
part of the church.
okay, they're not part of the church, that's right.
I
But
mean, it doesn't mean they're not, I just mean that they're not part of the bride that he said is not for
Yeah.
wrath.
yeah, so,
They're
so
just
they've
set a
missed,
different, yeah.
they've missed the initial salvation from wrath.
Mhm.
Now
They'll be
they're,
saved ultimately.
yeah, now they're having to go through that because sin has consequences. Right? You know, they weren't innocent because they rejected the gospel. Now they have to go through God's justice, right? We don't like to think about that, do we? Right? I mean, it's just, it should be easier, right? God should just remove it. I mean, when you reject the gospel, you face God's justice, God's judgment, God's wrath. So they have to go through that. But the one thing that stood out to me, I think it's verse 4 and 5. Smoke of the incense with the prayers of the saints. So if you get a picture of the smoky whatever, and the prayers of these believers that are being, you know, tortured, martyred, oppressed, suffering, and he throws it to the earth. That's quite the compilation, isn't it? Like the prayers come before God, all the requests, like what will people be asking for as they're suffering through unimaginable times, right? God, and then this angel takes the prayers with the incense and hurls it at the earth. Is that the supplication? Is that believers just praying, you know, Lord, make it quick? You know, like end this. We can't continue much longer. Pretty sobering, isn't it?
This whole thing with the censer being thrown to the earth, I've got written in here, so obviously it was mentioned in the message somewhere. It may appear to be a meteor shower
Yeah,
from the earth.
yeah, certainly. Yeah, I mean, it has all those effects.
It looked like that, yeah.
Got it.
You didn't want fly swatter?
Oh, it moved.
I have found a secret formula. If I leave a certain cup on my counter with just the right amount of almond milk in it, they'll go in there and drown themselves. And I've gotten a ton of them that way.
Real purpose for almond.
Maybe, yeah, all the almond milk. So, another thought, just as we're chatting about this, as this is hurled, meteor shower, we you know, you think of movies and all that different stuff and what that would do, Ice Age, yada yada yada, killing dinosaurs. In a way, this judgment is also mercy on the Christians who are being persecuted in this way, because there will be believers that are dying in this, other than the 144,000, right? Because they're sealed. So in the midst of that judgment, there's also mercy in God calling these people home, right? As you process, we don't often like work through that as well. I mean, you think of war. I mean, dying and going home to be with the Lord rather than facing the ravages of war is a salvation in its own too at times. It's a mercy. Okay, first trumpet, verse 7.
Whose turn is it?
Yours.
Is it? Okay. Oh. The first angel sounded, and hail and fire followed, mingled with blood, and they were thrown to the earth, and a third of the trees were burned up, and all green grass was burned up.
Then the second angel sounded, and something like a great mountain burning with fire was thrown into the sea, and a third of the sea became blood.
And a third of the living creatures in the sea died, and a third of the ships were destroyed.
And the third angel sounded, and a great star fell from heaven, burning like a torch. And it fell on the third of the rivers and on the springs of water.
The name of the star is wormwood. A third of the waters became wormwood, and many men died from the water because it was made bitter.
Then the fourth angel sounded, and a third of the sun was struck, a third of the moon, and a third of the stars, so that a third of them were darkened. A third of the day did not shine, and likewise the night.
And I looked, and I heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, because of the remaining blasts of the trumpet of the three angels who are about to sound.
So the worst hasn't even come yet.
It's cataclysmic.
All right, so we got hail. Okay, we've all seen hail. Fire from heaven, mingled with blood. I mean, is that just to remove, all known scientific explanation at that point? I mean, you got, but what blood type is it? Let's try and catch it. Poor joke, but.
Can
I
you
mean, like,
imagine the headlines? Like, it's just,
yeah, I mean, like, try and explain this. Now, I mean, I
I'm
know
just
that-
wondering how only a third of the seas. Like, how can only a third of the sea become blood? I'm just trying to figure that out because they're all connected.
They'll just blame this on climate change.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yes,
you can imagine,
lawnmowers and gas stoves. That's what's doing it.
you can imagine trying to explain it, but I mean, I know this isn't a miracle. In a way it is. I mean, it's a sign and wonder from the heavens, right? And what was the purpose of miracles? It's always to authenticate
the message.
the message. So even in the
Or the
midst
messenger.
of these signs and wonders, it's to authenticate the ultimate message, right? Call on the name of the Lord and be saved, right? Because this age of grace, I know with the rapture we would say that, but they still have one opportunity, or at least, let's say another year and a half, okay? Because we got some 5 months and 5 months when we keep reading in chapter 9. And there's one more angel that flies over in Revelation 14, presenting the gospel. So there's still time for them to call, and these signs and wonders are authenticating that message.
Yep.
So we're not going to read this and go, God's such a heavy-handed, wrathful God, right? They're the sovereignty. No, he's trying to get the attention of a humanity who is harder than hard, right? Following a system, following their culture, following Satan. And there's only one way that he can really get that attention, right? Seas are struck, lots more fire. Imagine the smell, blood all over the ground.
Well, I wonder
Sea
the fact
creatures
where,
dead.
where it says that it's a third, it makes you think, okay, so there's a specific part of the earth that had this. And that would keep it, if it was just like all of North America or something like that, or, all of this side
Just
of the
can't
world.
figure
or
out how you
something.
can do that and see.
Okay.
That would
Unless
keep it
it's a
somewhat
poor
separate, but-
translation and it means like maybe, because the Sea of Galilee is a bad translation. It should be the lake.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
That's what our tour guide said. It was a bad translation.
We've got a star, verse 10, falling from heaven, burning like a torch. Right, we've all seen enough movies to know what happens when a star hits the earth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Blockbuster.
And
I'm
then
glad I
12,
wasted my time on movies.
12 and 13, then the fourth angel sounded, and a third of the sun was struck. That'd be interesting. Third of the moon, and a third of the stars. What's that mean? Just kind of goes black? Is there a chunk missing out of it? What's that do to
Well, on Earth,
orbit?
they're probably gonna call it a black hole.
Okay. Maybe I'd ask,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Be like living in New York City, you would see only but a third anyway, maybe.
okay, yeah, yeah. Does this contribute to the need for a new heavens and a new earth? Right, if all of a sudden your third of your moon isn't working properly, or your third of your sun, right? I mean, if this strikes the sun, there's some sort of effect on that, what's the word I'm looking for, that planet we're calling it?
Sphere.
Yes,
Fall again.
orbit, yeah, gas, okay, I mean, there's
Gaseous,
some
yeah.
sort of, I'll say, permanent
Yeah.
effect on that, which is very, very important to Earth as we know it. So it's no wonder that God has to redo it.
People might think it's a permanent eclipse, you know.
Well, yeah, that's, yeah.
Eclipse of the moon or eclipse of the star, or the sun.
It,
They just
I mean,
won't quite have an
maybe-
explanation for it because it wasn't part of their schedule.
maybe it's Hollywood, but I mean, I am picturing desperate, scared people, you know, like blood falling from heaven. You know, the third, like you said, there are these odd eclipse. Like, I mean, you would have been able to see in the sun it being struck. Like, I mean, like feeling the gravitational, like all the effects of that, the moon, you know, just that terror that must be on the people, right? Like, you can't even drink, all your fresh water is gone, right? And that's without going back to the first seals that were opened. I mean, if there was ever a time for people to understand Christ, what he did on the cross and call out, it would be now, right? So we've got 4 minutes. This will probably just lead to a little bit more homework. I'll try and read the next 12 verses just literally, okay? There's all kinds of different ideas, from tanks to nuclear warfare to all kinds of different things. Now even, I'm gonna laugh, even when I took it with Dr. Doherty 9 years ago, drones weren't really a thing,
No.
right? You know what I mean? Like the high-tech drones weren't a thing, so I mean, we were still thinking tanks and stuff. You know, anyway. So I think, Carissa, verse 1?
Of 9.
9, chapter 9. We'll just read the 12 verses and then we'll look at that maybe next week.
Then the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fallen from heaven to the earth. To him was given the key to the bottomless pit.
And he opened the bottomless pit, and smoke arose out of the pit, like the smoke of a great furnace. So the sun and the air were darkened because of the smoke of the pit. Get your math set.
And out of the smoke, locusts came upon the earth, and to them was given power as the scorpions of the earth had power.
They were commanded not to harm the grass of the earth, or any green thing, or any tree, but only those men who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads.
And they were not given authority to kill them, but to torment them for 5 months. They're